So when something is a longer process that takes more time, when it's a physical one or a mental one or an emotional one where we're stuck, that means we have to learn puzzle pieces and information around that healing journey to figure out who we are. So when that happens over a period of time, the whole reason that something doesn't change and flip straight away is to learn and grow.
Hello and welcome to Uncovered, the podcast with your host, Jason Irving. Join me in a journey to understand what's truly happening in your world and the world around you. This is not about how you're living life on the surface. It's about what's truly driving you from under the covers. I'm going to take you on a journey to deeply uncover the reason why you are here, the ultimate purpose in your problems and the way that they have shaped your life up until now. See, I believe you have a purpose, and your problems are the highway towards ultimate realization of that journey towards freedom and the reconnection of your true self. I've been told I have a different spin on most things, and I'll be giving you my understanding of life, love, and what we're all here for, purpose. To get the best out of this podcast, drop what you already know so you can discover what's beyond you. So join me, let's play this game of life and bring on liberation, transformation, and change. Let's do this.
Hey guys, welcome to Uncovered. I'm super excited to share some information that is personal to me. It's just me today. Not just me, it's me today. I'm really looking forward to sharing some stuff around healing and how instantaneous healing occurs and how healing occurs over time, and what is the difference and why do things happen straight away and why do things take time to actually heal your body and heal your life. Okay, so there've been many times where I've come in the road of people's experiences and they've transformed cancers and all sorts of things, and I've never written them in a book. I've never put myself as oh my God, I'm the cancer healer, I'm the fixer of all things, and I've done so many miraculous things that I could write numerous books about. And the most important thing I want to share with you is that this is not about you coming to see me and saying, can you heal me? I never healed anybody. And this is what I want to really share with you today. I never healed a single person in my life. This is what I did. I helped people get into the state for their own healing process. And this is what true healing is all about. So healers who do the healing, they're putting themselves in a messiah complex and they're putting themselves above and beyond the person who is being, in quotes, healed. Now, this is not how true healing works. So people come to a healer or a therapist or someone to do that. So there's a process that comes along, and I'm the person who's going to do the healing, the person's the healer, and we create this dynamic, right? The true healer or transformation specialist is what I call myself really, is a person who can help someone have that belief that change is possible. And that's basically what I've done since I was doing this healing work. And I've had experiences that I could never, ever fathom that could possibly happen. So I read this book, and this is what I did when I started. I used to start with this process where I would, when I was working with people, I'd look up onto the roof, put my hands on them, and I'd say, I have no idea what I'm doing, and anything is possible. We have that in our framework in the start of our academy work. What it does is it keeps the open doorway to absolute unlimited possibilities in any moment possible that you could have. So the thing that I want to share with you today is I put people in a position of confidence and competence within themselves. I was assured, one thing I know is that I can help turn anything around in someone's life if they want it. If they don't want it, I can't do anything. So what I've learned with healing that happens straight away and happens in a way that is unbelievable or a miracle cure, let's say, it's only happening because the person's ready. And that's basically it. So a person who has come to a healer or a person who is miraculously changed is because the two people have come in to a dynamic to create an instantaneous change together. And that's how it works, guys. So you put the person in a facilitation place, and there's a thing called the placebo effect. And the placebo effect is basically this: the belief that you can put yourself in a position of personal healing. That's what it's all about. So you fully believe. There's a guy called John Placebo. You can look at this on the internet. What he did, he was a doctor, and he basically said some things, and this is what the placebo effect is all about when they do testing with drugs. Now, with drugs, 40% of the drugs that people take is placebo. So 40% of the time, if you take a pill and the doctors say it's going to do this and you believe that it's going to happen, then you can miraculously heal your body. And that's how it works. So it's not necessarily the pill, it's not necessarily the healer, the nutritionist, any of these people. You might be getting triggered here if you're one of these people who's here to heal people. You're here to help people with their hearts and who they are and help them understand themselves. So the ones that quite often have the miracle experience, they don't necessarily, they're not necessarily here to understand so much about why, how, and what. They're just happy that they've got this second chance in life. So I remember one lady who I was working with, she was having an emergency surgery, and with a cancer, they need to operate straight away. I had one session with her. They found a little bit of cancer. It's about the size of a pea. They struggled finding it simply because I had a doorway in the way. Another lady, little girl, who was meant to have an operation for reflux. They couldn't fix anything. Had to get off all the drugs, so they get this person ready for her operation. Found me, one session, reflux completely gone. Now, I've had this happen numerous times, so I'm not a healer anymore, but people quite often have experiences with me. I just had a guy, Gordon, he had a sore shoulder, put my hand on it, and his shoulder was completely better in the space of 2 minutes. I had someone just a couple of weeks ago, sore back, just put my hand on their back. Within 5 seconds, their back pain was gone. Now, these are people who 100% have faith and belief that what I have is a miracle that they can actually connect with. And this is why we meet people. Quite often we meet a person because that person is here to help us believe that we can get help. And that's what healing and support is all about, is getting help from other people. So it's an essential part and an ingredient. So there are certain things that I've worked on my body. I remember having a problem with my thyroid for 1.5 years. And I didn't go and see the doctors. I just knew there was a problem and everything was locked up in there. And I spent 1.5 years working on it. And I didn't go and see anybody. I just did it myself. And I've done it many times with my body, many times. So what I want to talk to you about now is the healing journey. Okay, so I'm working with someone at the moment who's in our academy, and we're working on some issues with her body. And we know that we're here to find angles and pieces and information to understand how to get that healing journey to be understood. So when something is a longer process that takes more time, when it's a physical one or a mental one or an emotional one where we're stuck, that means we have to learn puzzle pieces and information around that healing journey to figure out who we are. So when that happens over a period of time, the whole reason that something doesn't change and flip straight away is to learn and grow. So in my opinion, and this is only mine, you can throw it away if you like. I've had a lot of experience with this since 1998. Throw it away if you like. My opinion is that when we get disease, when we get problems in our psychology, when we get problems in our approach to life, we're here to learn something really, really important. So I'll give you another example of this. This is a psychological one. There's a lady who came to see us and jumped into our academy for a very small period of time, just a 3-month process. We have a 3-month toe dipper thing where people can jump in and have an experience to see if what we're doing is worthwhile. She was in the medical system for a really long time, seeing psychiatrists, psychologists, and she wasn't getting anywhere. 12 years. 1 month, we completely reset her. The thing is, she was ready. She wanted to change. She didn't want the excuses and all the pain that she was suffering. She was never justifying her story. Her story was her story that she wanted to have different. So one thing that I've learned around true healing and true transformation is the journey of learning and growth is the most important part of it. Then we get to a certain point and the actual transformation from something that's painful to pain-free is actually very, very quick. Then the learning and experiences that we come out of things, those are the things that we actually take on in life. We get to write a whole new book of the way that we want our future to be. So I'll give you another example of this. There's a lady in our academy. She didn't join the academy with this problem. She had Hashimoto's. She saw me when I was a therapist, and we unwound her Hashimoto's by basically I was talking to her about the things that she wasn't able to talk about. And all of a sudden, Hashimoto's gone, everything fine, and she's okay. And now for people with anyone knows about Hashimoto's, it's very debilitating to your energy. She's a rock climber now. She loves going into the outdoors and experiencing the outdoors and has a lot of energy. And then if she's not doing something that's actually based on what she needs, her connection drops and she realizes she's out of sync. So she knows she's got an actual journey here to make sure that she looks after her well-being through being honest, being kind and caring to herself, and being clear with the way in which she wants to live a life. And if she does those three things, then she won't get debilitated by a disease that you can't get rid of. Now, I love breaking systems. This is one of the things that I love to be able to do as a healer, as a therapist, as a leader for the academy, and a change agent for your life potentially, if you want to jump in and find out what we do. Now, the thing that makes me the most excited is breaking systems. Right? So when someone comes in and they say, I've got this problem that can't be fixed, I've often been the person who's come around and found a way to bypass the system that someone's in and recircuit something. And the reason why I do this is because I like to be inquisitive. So, when we like to be labeled, I have ADHD, or I have Hashimoto's, or I have cancer, or I have type 2 diabetes, as an example. Imagine the identity that people have around these diseases. And some people could be looking at me and let's say you have something right now, and it might be lifelong and it might not be treatable, might not be fixable with the work that we do. It might not be changeable with the medical profession either. There's always a hope, though, to break a system, right? And so that's what the medical model is designed to do, to help heal, help change something. And it's the same with the alternate model as well. It's designed to heal and help change something. So the number of times that people have come to see me and I've had to break a system, right? And the system is belief. There's a really cool book called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. It sort of talks about how your beliefs create your reality. I know I'm not sure what he does with that. The thing that I do is I read that book and I was already living that book. Quite often people would say, oh, there's a book that I've read, but you already know that stuff because you're actually living and breathing the information, the content that's in a lot of the books around development, because that's what I've been told. I don't read all the books. And this is what's really important for you guys to listen to today, listeners, is that if you're stuck in your own paradigm and you've decided this is how it is, right, then how are you going to heal? That's what you've got to ask yourself first. How are you going to heal if you've decided the rules? So when someone like me comes in, or some other therapist or some other technique or whatever it is that you're looking for to get help, here's my suggestion. Listen, take note of what they've got to say, because they're the ones that are going to give you a paradigm break, right? So if someone comes in and gives you a paradigm break and you're sitting in, well, that person doesn't understand the predicament I'm in, they don't understand the pain that I'm in, they just don't get me, then there's going to be a problem here. You won't change your paradigm, right? So the healing journey is all about getting to know thyself. And when you get to understand the purpose in pain and suffering of your particular ailment, if you have it, we all have ailments, by the way, guys. We all have psychological stuff that's going on that we don't tell anyone about. We all have emotional stuff that's going on that we don't tell anyone about. We all have physical ailments that are potentially waiting because we're making difficult decisions for our body. So for me, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on me. When I started myself as a healer in 1998, I was smoking marijuana, I was drinking a lot, and I wasn't being very, very healthy. And that was what I was being and doing, So 1998 to start the journey, really wanted to be a healer, and I end up in the psych ward in 2000. So I was expecting to get healed and helped, and I had my head pulled apart and my heart kicked. And that was the experience I have. I have no actual animosity towards the people that helped me get into the psych ward. I just had this experience. So I don't, the reason why I'm saying help me get in the psych ward, because I was the one who did it. They were the one who guided me there. And so the important part of understanding around my healing journey around my mental health was a terrible decision. I decided to not talk to anyone about it. I decided to not say anything. When I came home to Australia, no one said anything. A whole bunch of people knew, but no one said anything to me about my journey. And so it was just this elephant in the room. We'd just leave that to the side. And, and then I slowly started to, reach out and get some help. And then one day something happened that was really beautiful. I decided one day I had a core group of people that I was helping for a long period of time, about 2 or 3 years. And they were coming through a program that I was just running for 2 or 3 years. And that I said, look, I'm going to tell you a personal journey today. And I wasn't expecting everyone to come. And I said, it's going to be at 6 o'clock. We would usually start at 7 o'clock. And if you want to show up and find out about my story, come and show. I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 people to show up. The whole lot of them showed. And I told them about my journey in the psych ward. And it was the most relieving moment that I had in my entire life, because my healing journey sort of snapped into relief, because I thought that if people knew that I'd been in the psych ward in 2000, then no one would come and see me, because they thought I was a crazy nutbag. And now I'm actually really proud of being in the psych ward. I love the experience of breaking my brain and understanding the limits of what our brain does, because when people were coming to see me, I knew that I could actually help break the way the paradigms of their brain worked, and actually turn what they were thinking around in a really, really healthy way to change their lives. And a lot of people don't know how to help people from the inside out. And I'm an inside out job, because I've heard, I've broken my brain and damaged it in 2000. And this is what's really important, guys. It's like the journey didn't happen to me. I made it happen. And the experience and the attitude that I have around health and healing from my past is nothing but a beautiful experience of learning and growing. So what I want to hand to you today around your healing journey, whether you're on one or not, we're all on one in some way, is to figure out how to let go of who did what to who. Okay. And then when we find out the players and all the chips that have been bargained and all the bits and pieces that we're learning, we have this amazing experience to grow through. Now, I'm going to give you another example around a healing journey with a lady. We were sitting just behind here, and I was doing a course called the Breakthrough, a 12-week breakthrough program to help people break their paradigms. I won't mention this lady's name. She looked at me in the eyes, and we were talking about sexual abuse that she'd experienced. She looked at me in the eyes and she said to me, "I'm so glad I got sexually abused." She turned the corner that day, and we both laughed and had a great conversation. We gave each other a huge hug, and I said, "This is the last time you'll be abused by anybody." Doesn't mean she doesn't get hurt by people, but it doesn't look like abuse. So we changed a massive paradigm in her world simply because she wasn't a victim of the circumstances of her past anymore. And that's what true transformation and healing is all about, guys. If you bogged into what happened, or what got stuck, or what you missed out on from your family and friends or parents or ex-husband or wife or person who decided to break up with you, and you're still hooked on that, then you're going to stay stuck within your paradigm. Okay, so I want to hand you something really, really important today, is for you to think about every experience that you have, every journey that you have is an experience to learn from. Once you actually look at the healing journey in that way, it's a self-discovery system. So what that means is you start discovering your center towards yourself, your limitations, the things that hold you back, and the ways that you can move forward. So one thing I know is that I can change anyone's life if they're willing to come with me on the journey. I can't if they don't. And that's what I knew with the limitations of helping people to turn themselves into a transformation mechanism or a stuck brick. So what do you want to be, listeners? You know, are you feeling stuck by your paradigm? So one thing I've learned, I'm a label breaker, I'm a system breaker. So when someone comes and tells me, hey, I've got ADHD, I've got PTSD, I just unwound someone's PTSD because they helped me, I helped them get into the state just last week. So they were going to have a major trauma, a major experience happened, and I unwound the PTSD in about 10, 15 minutes. If she had been locked into that statement, she would have had all of the symptoms and all of those things for who knows how long, because you can have PTSD for 10, 20, 30 years based on that one experience that was traumatic. So I got in the way of her experience being a PTSD experience. So now she can't have that label anymore because it's gone, right? So I'm a label breaker. So if you've created a label or you've been given a label, what if you could actually be different, right? What if it could be different? What if your label could be something else? So my label that I have that I love for myself is a person, right? I'm connected to every other human being when I'm a person, right? And so what this does is I let go of those identities and structures that we've built in. You know, I've got a degree. I could have an identity of having this identity of an experienced healer, let's say. I don't have that as my label. Okay, I'm talking about healing, I'm talking about transformation, that I've let go of myself having the identity of being a healer. And guess what? It took me 6 to 12 months to actually get my table out of my academy now. And this is what I want you to understand and know and grow from, listeners, that if you can get this, if you can understand your paradigms that you're stuck in and you really want to change them, the big mistake is listening to the sound of your own voice in your head, because that's not a healing journey. That's quite often a healing dysfunction, right? If that sound is taking you somewhere, go for it. A lot of the time it's taking you to belief-based consequences. So the number of times where I see someone and I'm really, really able to see a lot of things in people's lives, when someone says, I'm going to do this, I can see the consequence of the decision, and consequences can be positive or negative. I remember this one guy, I knew he was going to die in a couple of years, and he died of COVID. And the reason why it wasn't COVID that killed him, it was his choices with the intake that he was having. And anytime he got something bad, the next bad thing that he was going to have, he wasn't going to be here. So his journey was a painful one. So when we're going on this healing journey, there's certain things that we need to understand around what we put in our bodies and how we look after our bodies. So if we're looking at a true healing journey, listeners, we're thinking about our body becoming a temple. So I was very unhealthy when I started, as I said, and I did a meditation in 2004, and I got rid of marijuana. I think it was 2004. Marijuana, coffee, and alcohol, and chocolate and white meat, I think it was, all in one day. The white meat, I'm not going to discuss why. I've got the white meat in my world again now. But those things I just got rid of. And there was nothing that was actually saying, oh my God, I desperately need those things. So I wasn't giving up anything. What I was doing is I was gaining health. And this is what it is when you understand true healing journeys, is what you put in your temple, your body, you look at it as a gain, not a loss. So everything you let go of is brilliant, because you're going to be better off. Someone told me, I was in a taxi the other day, 3 times this year, my age has been 33, 35, and 37, and I'm 50, right? All because consequentially, all the things that I've removed has actually made my skin look more vibrant, and I'm not running my aging gene so much, because I'm far more careful with the things that I put in my body, and I'm always looking at things to change. So what I want to hand to you, listeners, is giving you this sense of having your power back, that you can create a massive change within your structure, within your choices, within your world. And one thing I've learned is that if you do this on a highway, you're going to do it more rapidly. So the thing that I really regret from my past is not communicating some of the things that I can openly communicate right now, simply because I felt too ashamed. So shame is one of those things that actually locks the body into a state of dysfunction, and it creates disease. So it's actually been able to be vulnerable with one person to open up the doorway to create a pathway so you can change your body structure and change your world. So I'd love to know, if you like this podcast, if you got something out of this and it really made a lot of sense to you, I want you to think about this, like and share this one. This is something I'm really, really passionate about. I have a couple of people poking me saying, you need to write a book around your methodologies around health and healing. I keep getting poked all the time around this because a guy, title could be No Results Healing. That could be the way in which I would write this. And, if I get enough people saying, please write this, come on, I have enough people poking me, maybe I'll get this out here so you can get the understanding of the concepts, the way that I approach and the way that's worked. So then you can create an offering. If you wanted to be a person who wants to help people, it stops all the pressure. And I'll tell you why this is so important. I used to be a person who would help all the burnt out therapists around town where I work in Canberra. And a lot of them would burn out because they were putting too much pressure on themselves to solve the riddles of people's lives. Never burn out, simply because I knew the process of healing was exactly what I started with, that we're here as a conduit and an offering for a receiver to become their most brilliant and vibrant self. Are you that person who wants to become that? Because one thing I know is this is what our academy does. Part of our paradigms, we work with 6 areas of your life. Number 1, healing. It's not necessarily number 1. Number 2, intimacy. Number 3, friends. Number 4, purpose. Number 5, well-being. And number 6, family. So we help you with all of those 6 areas and help you transform the ways in which you approach. So I really hope you really liked this podcast. This is down my alley. I've been really passionate about, what health and healing is to me over a long period of time. And I hope you like this one and you have an awesome day today. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate you and we really appreciate your time, because time is so valuable. What we'd love you guys to do, if you like this podcast, if you could share it with your friends, and also our website address for the podcast is www.wellnessbreakthroughacademypodcast.com. Our website is www.wellnessbreakthroughacademy.com. We have a free Facebook group called Wellness Leadership Evolution, so search for that. I'd love it if you could add me as a friend on Facebook. I don't buy it, so add me as a friend. And if you want some help and you would really like some support from us in the Academy, jump in. We have a process. You can do a break-in call to connect in with us. We do small courses. We have lots of things that we share. So we'd love the opportunity to give you a chance to change your life and turn it into a free one. You are one transformation away from change. Come and catch up.